Are you looking for a way to scale your short-term rental business and buy more properties? Well, co-hosting might be the right fit for you. Welcome to the Co-Host Coach podcast with Joe Roney. This episode of the Co-Host Coach is brought to you by Savvy STR Agents. If you're looking to buy a short-term rental, then contact the STR Savvy Agent team at savvy.realty.
Welcome to another episode of the Co-Host Coach. I am Joe Roney, the Co-Host Coach, and I am excited to be back doing a couple solo episodes with you over the next couple of weeks to go over some really important stuff. So first of all, I want to say Merry Christmas. It is officially Christmas Day, and if you know what that means in the short-term rental space, today officially starts summer vacation booking season. So if you have not done so, up until now, prepared your calendars for 2025 on any properties that you either own or that you co-host, right now is the time. Stop what you're doing, listen to this podcast later, and go set your calendars. Because, no, you may not get 10 bookings today or tomorrow or by the end of the week, but you also might. And if you only get one booking between now and the end of the week, and your calendar is not set, and that booking is at 30% off of what the normal summer rate would be, or you don't have your days or your calendar set, and you take a 3-night booking or a 2-night booking on a preem weekend that should be a 5, 6, or even 7-night booking, then you're missing out on big opportunities, and it's going to make your calendar harder to fill a little bit later. So the official summer booking season every year starts right around Christmas. People are getting together for the holidays. They're talking about summer vacations, and some of them are saying, hey, let's get this planned. Let's get this booked. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of summer bookings over the next 30, 60, 90 days, and some people won't even book until spring. But the most important thing that you have done up until this point is gotten your calendars and your and all of your pricing ready right now. So really want to kind of take this episode to really talk about 2025 and what that looks like and the meetings that you're going to have with owners. So, I currently am co-hosting 8 different properties, and in the month of January, we are planning our 2025, kind of a 2024 goal recap from how we did last year for these owners and for these properties, and what 2025 goals look like. So really want to kind of deep dive into what I'm doing to prepare for those conversations because they're important conversations. It's really important for you and the owners that you're co-hosting for to be on the same page, have similar goals, or at least know what those goals are and have them written out or at least planned out on what you're doing. If you have an owner that's expecting A and you produce B, at the end of the year, it's not going to be a good conversation. So, now is the time to kind of level set on how did we do, how did the market do, and what are we doing going forward. So, so the first thing that I'm doing, or I have been working on, is looking at my 2024 numbers. So not my 2024 numbers, just like as a whole. Yes, it's great to sit and say, okay, I took over a property in 2024 that did $160,000 in 2023, and we are at $175,000, and we didn't even take the property over until May. So we're going to potentially increase the revenue for these owners by almost $50,000 in the first year that we took over management, and that's great to sit back and look at the year as a whole. But what I'm really doing is looking at month by month. Okay, what did we do in March? What did we do in April? What were the areas that we did really well at in 2024 that we can continue to build on going into next year? And what are some, it could have been some dates, could have been some weeks, it could have been, a slower month or two because it's going to happen. What are we going to do different to make those months have a bigger impact in 2025? So when you're really planning out your goals and your revenue management for the upcoming year, you really have to sit back and analyze what you did by the season, by the month, even by the week when it comes to your holiday weeks and how you performed. So We don't want to just analyze as a whole. And then as we're going into creating our 2025 calendars, which, like I said, hopefully you've done most of that up until today. If you haven't, now's the time. But when I'm looking at my 2025 calendars, I'm looking at, okay, I know in April of last year, we were down significantly. Now, almost every single market was down because in 2024, Easter was in March, and in 2023, Easter was in April. So we missed a prime weekend that we were up against the previous year's numbers. We made up for that by the end of the month, or really by the end of May, and we still ended up having increases for the first half of the year, but that was a big impact. This year, going into 2025, Easter's back in April again. We know April is going to crush last year's April's numbers. However, that doesn't mean we want to go in and overprice or underprice or whatever it may be. We need to really understand the calendar and make sure we're managing it to the season and to what the booking lead times are and what those rates are. So the other thing that I'm really looking at is the slow season. We can all crush it during the busy season. It doesn't matter if you're a good host or a bad host. You're probably going to make money during the busy season. And that's going to be in any market anywhere. When you have 85%, 90% occupancy for the month in a market, everyone's going to get booked. However, the slow season is where you can really make a big impact, especially for your owners. And, what is your revenue plan or what is your goals for those slow seasons? And it's important to have those calendars set up now rather than later. Are we getting any September bookings right now? Probably not. But I will say that I got a mid-August booking a couple of weeks ago, and it was a $13,000 booking, almost a 30% increase over last year for that same week. And we already have a 7-night booking, and it's booked out about 10 months ahead of time. So our calendars were set. We got that great booking, and we're already seeing that huge increase during that 1 week. So as you're going through and planning out your 2025, you definitely want to look at that by the week. Now, I'm going to be sitting down and having, either one-on-one meetings or Zoom meetings or Google Meets with every one of my owners during the month of January. I try to do these quarterly. Sometimes the owners don't really want to do the quarterly ones. As long as things are going good, they don't need to have that meeting to know what's going on or what's happening with the property because they see they got good numbers, and that's okay. I still send them my quarterly recap reports and send them all the data that I have, but we don't necessarily always get together. But I do, no matter what, want to have, whether it be a 10-minute or a 30-minute one-on-one conversation with every owner during the month of January to kind of level set and continue to build that relationship going into the new year, because it gets everybody on the same page. You'll hear a lot of, if you're getting into the co-hosting business, you're probably trying to take properties that are managed by other people. Guess what? Your properties that you're currently co-hosting have other property managers that are trying to take your business away to grow their business. It's the nature of the beast. It's what you do to grow your business. So if you're not building that relationship with your owners and you're not having those conversations, there's a chance that they might be frustrated with something and you don't know it. And somebody else just called them up and promised them the world, and they're calling you to give you your 60-day notice or 90-day notice, whatever you have in your contract, to say, bye-bye, I got a new manager. So, these, recaps, these conversations, these, yearly meetings are really, really important to have to be able to plan, put it on your calendar, and make sure you have really good stuff to go over. So a couple other things that I'm going to go over with my owners is we're going to go through. So one of the things that I do is I track KPIs every week. I have a virtual assistant that goes in every single Tuesday and, goes into my Rank Breeze and, puts in a spreadsheet for me exactly, how many views the listing got, how many wish lists it got, how many, what the conversion is, how many people clicked on it. All of these things that are in Rank Breeze that you might just look at occasionally. I have a spreadsheet by week so I can show the progress and what page my listing is on and where I'm at in ranking for all of that. So the reason why I do that is for the exact same reason. I can look at Rank Breeze one day and it may have different numbers than it has a couple of days later. But if I know I'm having tracking and keeping track of it week in and week out, I can have a report to go back and look at. I can look at that same report and say, okay, I saw our numbers go down a little bit here, and maybe that goes down on where our bookings were, or maybe I see a increase in our rankings, or whatever it may be, and I can look at those reports and tell and go through and figure out where it came from. I want those reports so I can show the owners what we're doing. We're not just sitting back, flying by the seat of our pants, hoping to get bookings. We're doing everything we can and tracking certain KPI performance metrics to be able to make those impacts. The other thing that I go through is the Price Labs dashboard report that's going to show, okay, in a 4-bedroom home, the previous 365 days, what is the actual average revenue? And if your average revenue is $70,000 for your specific home and you're at $90,000, then I'm showing the owner that we are up above the average by $20,000 or $50,000, whatever it may be, right? So we're able to show those numbers, and it's not always, sunshine and rainbows. There might be a property that you're down in. I have a property that I'm down in a little bit on the year. I only have one property that I'm down in. And there was some increased owner usage, and there's a lot of increased competition in the area, and we got to make a few changes during this off season to make it a little bit more competitive going into next year. We weren't down much, but we were, just a little bit under flat for the year where, a sister property was up over double digits. So, what can we do differently in this property to be able to make sure that it performs going into next year? So these are some of the things that I'm preparing right now, so I can put these presentations together for these owners and get everyone together on a call and get on the same page, and talk about what does it look like for the new year? What are our goals? And one thing Bill Faye says a lot, and I hear him say it, is what would a successful relationship look like 1 year from now? What would a successful year look like for you as the owner 1 year from now? Because your goals may not always be the same goals as the owners. And so when you're sitting down and talk to them, ask them what they're wanting. What would they like to see, going into the new year? So, all of these things are really important. And, like I said, it's really important to sit down and have those conversations with owners. I try to have them quarterly with every owner, like I said, but some of them we only get together once a year. And that 1 year, some of them might be an hour long, and that's okay. I want to be able to take that time with each owner and really kind of level set where we were, where we're going, and what we're doing. So, last thing, couple other things that that I do kind of track and kind of keep up on for the owners. In that Price Labs is the competitors. Making sure that I understand what the competitors are doing. And if I have some more competitors that have better looking properties because they've upgraded this year, this is the time of year I'm having those conversations with those owners to say, hey, we have 2 months during the slow season. What can we do to your property to make an impact in next year? And we actually just got done updating 2 different properties that we co-host. And one of them was a property that it was listed as a 3-bedroom, but we only had 1 king bed, 1 queen bed, and then a bunk room. And it was a 2,300 plus square foot home that technically has a 4th bedroom, but it only had sleeper sofa in that 4th bedroom, game room, loft area instead of an actual bed. So the other part of it, we only had 1 king bedroom. So we were kind of hurting ourselves and not being able to offer 2 king masters. And now we actually changed that design around back in September. We now have 2 king bedrooms. We still have a queen bedroom. And then we also have a bunk room with a sleeper sofa. So, we went from sleeping 12 to sleeping 14. And there's plenty of space for that. We have 3.5 baths. And on top of that, we're getting bookings that we never did. Actually, in the month of December, we are booked 22 nights in this house Last year, we booked 5 nights the entire month, and that was around Christmas to New Year's. And we're booked out at 22 nights this month in a beach market. And part of it is we have had contractors there this week. It was 4 adults that were there for a project for 8 nights, and they booked our place because it had multiple king bedrooms and a queen bedroom. So there was enough space for multiple adults to be able to stay. If we didn't make that change back in September, we would not have had those guests this week. So, these are some of the things that you can do and sit down with your owners, look at what your competition is doing, understand your market to know exactly where you could make some minor changes and make an impact, and get your owners buy-in to get into to going into 2025. So that is all I have for this week. Really, really excited about 2025, the growth that we've had for this year. I'm excited for you guys out there as you continue to grow your portfolios and get into this next season, because there is still a ton of opportunity to grow your co-hosting business between now and the busy season come March or even June. So happy hosting. Thanks so much. Merry Christmas to everyone, and we will see you on the new year.